Good morning. Thank you for inviting me to be here with you today. I'm honored to be present here today in this amazing place, and I am honored to be able to tell you a little about PEC, the work we do for our children every day, and about the children inside our beautiful school, the hard work, the heart work. I know these stories are important, some of which you may already know or can only imagine, but they are not unique. They are the stories of so many children in Greensboro, across our state, and across our country. We cannot give up on them because if we do, we give up on their future and our future. We must think about our young people, not feel sorry for them or make excuses for them, but to forge a better future so they too can have a better future. And that makes our entire world, and more deeply our community, a better place. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here this morning with a congregation that cares so deeply about our children, families, and the future of our community, and quite frankly, our world. As an EL education school, every morning our students participate in Crew. The culture of Crew impels all members of a school community to work together as a team, to pitch in and help others. Success is only achieved when everyone succeeds, and you do that. Your congregation shows up, supports, and gives to our school community, to our children. Thank you for being a part of our Crew. I remember in 2024 when we were still in our old building at 1601 West Florida Street. Elliot, then a first grader, walks past my old office. He stopped and said, "I don't want to leave this school. Do we really have to move?" So I told him that yes, we were moving. We are moving because we need a brighter, better school for learning. Because we all know when halls are dimly lit, when it's too cold or too hot, when walls are plain and ordinary and trash cans collect leaks from the rain, learning is impacted. I showed Elliot pictures of the hallway of his future school, our new school, and then we looked up and down the main hallway of Old Peck. Yes, schools are just buildings, but oh, they are so much more. I reminded him that the new school is for him, and he will get to learn there. Elliot skipped back to class satisfied. We needed a place more than any of us believe is possible, so our students can achieve more than they think is possible. I have a 6-year-old, myself, Ross, who attends a Guilford County school. Just like Elliot was in 2024, my child is going into the first grade this year. I remember thinking, the day he was born in January of 2020, that just being born into a household with 2 college-educated parents, that his story would naturally be different than the other children born that very same day and probably in that very same hospital. I knew that he would live a different life just because of the privilege that comes with being born into a world that is made for him to thrive. When the world shuttered due to the pandemic, I was fortunate to be able to work at home until the district reopened for in-person instruction. As soon as I returned to work, so too was Ross able to return to childcare, a facility open from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. every single weekday. And over the next few years, he was able to access childcare that afforded him social development, academic development, physical development, and everything that goes along with interacting with his same age-typical peers. That's not what happened for so many other children, though. For so many others, child care centers closed, and they have still never returned to pre-pandemic operating hours, and that is only for the centers that reopened at all. Imagine attempting to secure child care for your child or children, and the hours of operation are only from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. Do jobs exist that are life-sustaining, future-creating, actual careers for caregivers who, due to child care restraints, can only work 6 hours a day. As a principal, one thing becomes clearer every year. Children don't choose where they begin. They don't choose the neighborhood they are born into, whether there are books at home, whether someone reads to them every night, whether their parents are working 2 or 3 jobs, or whether they had access to high-quality child care. Families are working incredibly hard. Some are raising children while struggling financially. Some are learning English while navigating a new country. Some are grandparents raising grandchildren. Some are still dealing with disruptions that began during COVID, including, as I shared earlier, the loss of child care and early learning opportunities. Some children come to pre-K or kindergarten knowing letters, sounds, routines, how to sit on the carpet for morning crew. Others are learning those things for the first time. Please understand that circumstances are to no fault of our children or their families. Without positive interference, the world still does not create avenues and open doors. The world too often creates barriers. Of course, I want a world where my child, Ross, thrives, but I want every child to thrive. Recently, a father came to enroll his student, a child whose mother was the victim of gang violence in another country and violence that this child witnessed. In fact, he stayed quiet and silent in the vehicle with his mother's body until the police found him. Last year, we had multiple students enroll from a household without having ever had access to education years into their life due to a parent struggling with domestic violence and drug addiction. So our students, not just those at Peck, but across Guilford County, despite what happens to them before they come to school anyway. What happens to them is not the fault of any one person, not the fault of any one family, not the fault of any one event or circumstance. The world happens to them, and we have the power to change that. Let me share a little of the impact our school has. That same child who was years behind because he never went to school, well, now he's reading on grade level because of the power of our educators. Our teachers are committed to our students. They show up every day ensuring their basic needs are met and that students learn right from where they are and push them to where they need to be. For 4 consecutive years, we had 0% teacher turnover during the pandemic, where most schools were struggling to remain fully staffed. We have many teachers who have been committed to Peck and from Murphy for over 20 school years. In the fall of 2024, we consolidated with the school communities of Murphy and Wiley, communities with significant needs just like ours. We are in a beautiful school as a result of the community support from the 2020 bond, a beautiful school that was desperately needed. However, our students still come with the same needs as they did when our schools were smaller, and the buildings looked very different. But we cannot look backward, we must look forward. Regardless of what happens before August and before a child enrolls, the start of the school year, the new year comes every year like clockwork. The buses pull up, parents walk children to their front doors. Some students come in smiling and ready, others hold tightly to a parent's hand, unsure of what to expect. Some have been preparing for school for many years. Others are stepping into a classroom for the first time. Many children come with backpacks filled with crayons, folders, lunch boxes. Others carry things we cannot see. Worry, hunger, grief, trauma, responsibilities that no child should have to manage. And every year I find myself asking the same question. When these children come to us, how will we meet them? I compel our teachers to not meet our students with just rules, schedules, and curriculum. I ask them to model and act with patience, understanding, and grace. When I use the word grace, I don't mean lowering expectations. I don't mean making excuses. Grace means understanding that children do not all begin in the same place and then helping each child move forward from where they are. Grace is believing in children before they fully believe in themselves. It is recognizing that two children can sit in the same classroom with very different experiences behind them. Grace does not lower the bar, it changes how children reach it. In education, we often talk about school readiness, but sometimes I think we should ask the question a little differently. Instead of only asking, are children ready for school? We should also ask, are our schools, families, churches, and communities ready for the children who are coming? Even before school, is our community ready to remove barriers to ensure every child has an opportunity to be successful, or will we be the gatekeepers to keep opportunities so only a few can thrive? So what can a church do? Quite a lot. So what can we as individuals do? How can we extend grace, and how can we bolster a better community to give every child a chance to thrive? First and foremost, go vote. It is quick, easy, free, but incredibly impactful. You do not have to be a teacher to change a child's future. You can read to children, volunteer, mentor, support teachers, donate books or supplies, welcome new families, encourage parents, and support early childhood programs that help children develop language, curiosity, confidence, and social skills even before kindergarten begins. We are fortunate to host an after-school and summer program free to families and led by our own school staff. However, we need financial resources to continue to offer the enrichment opportunities our students need if we are going to continue to open doors into their futures. This program has led to increased academic success for our children. However, some of the enrichment opportunities are what really have an impact and help students think more positively about school. You can advocate for quality early learning opportunities so that every child, not just those with financial means, has a strong start. You can help remove barriers instead of assuming everyone begins at the same starting line. Many people may not know about Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, a wonderful program that mails a free, age-appropriate book each month to children from birth to age 5. It costs families nothing and helps place books directly into the hands of young children, creating opportunities for families to read, learn, and grow together. Yes, you did that math correctly. When a child signs up at the age of birth, they will have 60 books in their home library by the time they reach the age of 5. Sometimes changing a child's future begins with something as simple as opening a book and sharing a story. 80% of brain growth happens in the first 3 years of life. That's why the Guilford County Partnership for Children developed the Guilford Basics. The Guilford County Partnership for Children's mission is to help every child entering school safe, healthy, and ready to succeed. They support families through programs like NC Pre-K, early literacy initiatives, family resources, and partnerships that strengthen opportunities for young children from birth to age 5. One of their initiatives, the Guilford Basics, is a simple but powerful approach built around 5 practices: maximize love and manage stress, talk, sing, and point, count, group, and compare, explore through movement and play, and read and discuss stories. These everyday interactions help build strong brains and strong relationships during a child's earliest years. While many hospital social workers and pediatricians share these resources after a child is born is almost too late. Share these resources with those around you in hopes they too will share them with others they know. Sometimes grace looks as simple as kindness in the grocery store. And we've all been there. When we see a weary parent struggling with a child or the weight of a difficult day, we can offer compassion instead of criticism. A smile, an encouraging word, or a moment of patience can be a reminder that they are not alone. As people of faith, we are called to lift one another up, meeting everyday struggles with love, understanding, and grace. Every interaction matters. The crossing guard who waves, the neighbor who learns a child's name, the volunteer who listens, the coach who encourages, the retired teacher who tutors, the church member who quietly buys a backpack or winter coat, or underwear or socks. This congregation's support has contributed to decreasing our chronic attendance rate and supported countless children's future. While you may not see the impact of every dollar or action, I can assure you it has an impact. For that, I am forever grateful. And that impact is grace. If we want to reduce the differences in how children arrive at school, we have to begin long before the first day of kindergarten. We invest in families, we strengthen early childhood education, we support affordable childcare. We create places where children can hear language, experience books, build friendships, and develop confidence. This has to happen as a community, as a congregation, as individuals. And when children do arrive, no matter where they started, we meet them with grace. Every child who walks through a school door carries hope for tomorrow. May we be worthy of the trust they place in us. Help students like Elliot realize the world is for them. They deserve beautiful buildings and they deserve a beautiful, bright future. And as you leave today, I encourage you not just to admire the children in our community, but to actively support them. Volunteer in a school, mentor a young person, support early childhood programs, read to a child, welcome a family, or advocate for opportunities that help children succeed. The future of our community is already sitting in our classrooms, riding our buses, and playing in our neighborhoods. The children are coming, and together, through acts of grace, compassion, and involvement, we can help ensure they arrive not only welcomed, but prepared to flourish. Thank you.